What's going on, Savages? CJ here, back with another coaching tip video, and today I want to talk to you about organizing your workout. What up, Savages? We are back with another coaching tip video, and today we're talking about organizing your workout. More specifically, just really trying to better understand which exercises should precede other exercises. So what's the priority and what goes last? And so I'm gonna do my best to actually give you some tips in this video that are tangible that you can take away from this and start implementing immediately into your workouts. Now, before we go any further, I always like to make it clear that we don't suggest that our way is the only way or the best way. We think this is a very effective and smart approach to it, but there are lots of different ideologies and methodologies within the industry. So just keep that in mind. There's multiple ways to skin a cat, but we're going to talk to you about our system of actually compartmentalizing exercises in the proper order that we think gives you the most bang for your buck. All right, so let's get into it. And our system is something that we coined, a cheesy acronym, EASY. Now, what EASY stands for is Essential, Auxiliary, Supporting, and then finally Yoga. Now look, we're gonna put a pin in yoga for this video. That's actually our cool down section, and it's not even just yoga specifically, but we needed a Y, so we needed to make that acronym sound cool. But we're gonna set that aside because that's a whole nother video we're gonna get into. The Essential, Auxiliary, and Supporting is where I wanna spend time here, because this is really the skeleton structure of how we make sure that we create an order of operation that is the most effective, or hopefully gives us the most bang for our buck. All right, so we're gonna kick it off with the essential section. What essential means is really just what is the most important thing to you and your specific goals. Now, there are some of you out there that this is relatively easy to understand. For instance, if you are a power lifter, you know that the bench, the squat, and the deadlift are essential. They're clutch exercises that you are literally training to be good at. Like, that's your specific goal, is to get strong for one repetition within these very specific movement patterns. So they are by definition essential. And so if you're squatting that day, or you're benching that day, or you're deadlifting, those should be at the front of the line. Now, for some of you, maybe it's a little harder to understand. Maybe your goal is, aesthetics. Maybe you want to grow muscle, or you're a weight loss client, or just a general fitness client. Now, I understand there's a little confusion because there's all kinds of stuff. Maybe it's kind of like, how do you really define essential within a general fitness client? And I believe that you actually can, but you just have to dig a little further, and you have to be okay with a little bit of nuance. Now, let's say that the general fitness client is going in for a leg day. And on that leg day, they know they want to do back squats, and they also want to do some leg press, maybe hack squat, maybe a dumbbell lunge, leg curls, calf raises. We need to figure out, like, which one of these makes the most sense to be in the beginning of the workout. Where should I spend most of my time and really prioritize? Now, most of the time, honestly, the back squat is still going to make the most sense here, right? It's still going to be the biggest bang for your buck whenever it comes to the overall success of what they're looking to do. I know they're not trying to get strong at the back squat. I know it's not about, I need to be an expert or a technician at the back squat. But what you've got to consider is that somebody that is able to actually do a very effective barbell back squat, this is a skill set that's going to help you translate to so many other exercises that are going to basically accumulate volume over time, that are going to pay into the goals of what they're trying to do. For instance, if I can really build up my barbell back squat, and I can be efficient within 8 to 10 rep ranges with very good form and technique, and build up strength there, then this is going to actually help me in other things like the leg press, maybe the hack squats, maybe Smith machine movements. This is actually something that is going to provide me a more functional translation when it comes to the skill itself, that basically is going to allow me to build up training volume and overload in other areas that will help me to grow my legs, even though my goal wasn't necessarily to just be strong at the back squat. Now, it doesn't have to be that way, okay? It doesn't have to be that way. Maybe it's not the back squat. Maybe the leg press is really more essential for you because you don't like to back squat. That's totally fine. But what you've got to do is you've got to consider what is really the biggest contributor to the overall overload and the overall work that's going to be done. Which exercise is the most compound meat and potatoes one of that day? So really that's where essential is going to live. Now, I will give one caveat to that kind of definition to essential, and that would be that if you have a muscular imbalance or something specifically you need work on, maybe it's rehabilitation, or maybe it's just, you really need to bring up your hamstrings or something like that, well, this might actually change what fits in the essential category. There are times where maybe, it's essential that you start with lying leg curls because really that is such a drastically weak part for you that you need to put it first. I will tell you, a lot of people think that that's the case, when reality, that's a rare scenario that I would have somebody do. Most of the time, I might at best squeak in that lying leg curl into the auxiliary category, but I would rarely put it as kind of a mainstay of the workout itself. All right, moving into auxiliary. So we got to get to auxiliary next. Now, again, going back to the power lifter as an example, auxiliary, relatively easy to figure out. This is really the intermediate side of the house in the workout. So you've got the essential, and then the supporting is going to be on the lowest of priority. So right there in the center is going to be our auxiliary. And for the power lifter, the reason it's really easy to understand is because these are going to directly support the competition movements or the skill sets that they're trying to get better at. For instance, they're essentially doing the back squat, and so auxiliary might be paused box squats or squats with the chains around the bar. These are specific exercises that are emulating the actual skill that they want to get good at and helping them to work through sticking points and other components of that lift, but they are really tied at the hip. They're right there next to the essential movements, trying to give the most support possible. Now, if you are, again, an aesthetic client, if you are just looking for weight loss or general fitness, I know it's a little more complicated to understand, but think of it this way. The barbell back squat is going to be a lot more demanding, a lot more challenging, a lot more essential versus, say, your leg press or your dumbbell lunges or your step-ups. And so that's where those are going to fit within auxiliary. Let's say you are doing a leg day, for instance, and you're doing barbell back squats and you're doing the barbell deadlift as your essential movements. Cool. Well, then I might actually have something like, again, the leg press, or maybe dumbbell reverse lunges or Smith machine reverse lunges. Maybe a Romanian style deadlift would actually live within the auxiliary category. So something that's still a relatively demanding exercise, just not quite as difficult as that essential category. All right, finally, we've got the supporting. Now, supporting is really where you get to have fun a little bit. Now, yeah, you can be pretty surgical with this, but for the most part, this is really where you get into a lot of single joint actions and just overload work. Even within power lifters, this is where you would see a power lifter doing curls, for instance, which is a very far from really the main reason why they're training is doing dumbbell curls. But having stronger biceps actually could contribute to, making sure that they're not tearing something on the deadlift, right? Or having, strong hamstrings is going to help that, secure that knee. So lying leg curls might be in supporting. So basically, these are going to be movements that are primarily for overloading specific muscles. Now, with general fitness, we have, again, lateral raises, we have curls, we have tricep extensions. You could throw in lots of different exercises here, but these are essentially the least demanding, typically single joint actions, and they're there for the sake of just kind of back in caboose supporting everything else. So anyway, hopefully this makes sense to you guys. When you're putting together your workout, you can take it one step further by making sure that you're prioritizing bigger things before smaller things. This is going to help really collectively give you a better end result. And so I'm not saying that has to be, I'm not going to give you a list saying these exercises are essential, these ones are auxiliary. All these are just examples, and you really have to examine your specific goals, what it is that you're trying to get out of the gym, and that's going to help you to kind of separate what is the most important and what is the least important. Hopefully this video was helpful. Do me a huge favor. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. We welcome that kind of stuff, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks guys, bye.